What's up, everybody? It's Baseball Card Kid 28, and today I'm going to be showing you some baseball card boxes and some single baseball cards that I got for Christmas. I'm recording this on January 1st. Now it's 2020, so I was about to say 2019, but it's 2020 now. So this is exactly 1 week after Christmas, and that's what I celebrate. I celebrate Christmas. And I got a lot of cool baseball stuff, and that's what I'm going to be showing you.
Welcome into the DNVR Rockies Podcast, brought to you by Strava Craft Coffee and that adorable little kid. You got to use promo code DNVR20 just at Strava Craft Coffee, not for the little kid, but you'll get 20% off your entire purchase of that CBD-infused, deliciously rich, and potentially life-altering Strava Craft Coffee. I'm your host, Drew Kreisman. With me, as always, is beat writer Patrick Lyons, and on today, we are celebrating the season of giving, much like that kid who, by the way, how do I get set up with that room? The baseball card kid on YouTube came across that today. Totally adorable young man there. But we're going to be getting in the spirit of that young man and appreciating all of the fine gifts. Well, not all of them. I mean, we're not going to get encyclopedic here, but we're going to talk about some fun gifts out there that we've seen in the Rockies world. Wanted to start with a couple of our own. Start this one on a personal note. Then we will get into a few things, Henry, that maybe Rockies fans might be hoping for under their tree for Rockies fandom. And then we'll share some cool items with you. But Patrick, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, season's greetings, wonderful time of the year, and I must say you look phenomenal. I think this is the best dressed you've ever. I think you're going for a goatee for best dressed already.
I'm trying to, happy hot stove season, as we like to say in baseball parlance, and I have to get a little dressed up if we're going to be talking about some of our favorite presents we've received that are baseball related here in the middle of the off season, and think about maybe some items that we want the Colorado Rockies to get, or something that the fans might want, or us in the media, what we want to cover. It's an exciting time, and it's a time for dreaming and wishes and hopes, but also being thankful for what you got. So I'm very thankful to have, this 3-piece tuxedo that I am currently wearing. And thank you. I appreciate somebody notices.
I love that. Hey, look, if you're only listening to the podcast and you're not joining us live on YouTube, and you got to do that on Wednesdays for the DFA show here, then you have no idea to what extent Patrick is lying to you right now. But this isn't enough. The two of us, just not enough to do this one. We had to invite in somebody we know, one of the biggest baseball fans we know, someone we know has got some cool Rocky swag, and someone we just like talking baseball with. Schooled us both a little bit when he came on for the food draft, and is hot off the Denver Sports Podcast. Big Drive Spence. His golf work, but I was just hearing you on the other show, man. You love talking all the sports just as much as anything. Baseball, very near and dear to your heart. So we're going to be very excited to see what you've got to share with us today.
Absolutely, man. I got some treasures, I think, so. Also,
are you coming to us from inside the Oval Office?
This is my office at work, so yes, this is my spot.
Fantastic. Yeah, look, I'm excited already. We were going to start with some of our own. So why not, since you are our guest, why don't we go ahead and begin with you? Share with us some of the best and most interesting Rockies gifts you've received over the years.
So I actually brought them all in with me. Start with this one. This is recent. This is a Trevor Story signed bat, official. I got this last year. One of my prized possessions. I usually have it hung under my TV on my mantle, but my girlfriend wanted to put up Christmas decorations, so it's been relegated to my office at home for the time being, but just temporary. Just temporary.
It's a temporary situation.
Now, I imagine because golfing is your background, how far have you been able to hit a golf ball with that bat? That's really what I'm curious about.
It is one of the most fun things, actually, is to hit a golf ball with an aluminum bat. I don't think I would hit it with that wood bat, but hitting a golf ball with an aluminum bat, you can hit it like 500-600 feet, so it's a blast. That's a fun thing to do.
All right, so you're not going to actually test out the Trevor Story signed bat.
Seems wise.
I'm going against the grain on that one. Call me the
Really?
outcast. No, of course I would. No, that's
I was going to say, that doesn't sound right. I was going to say, that does not track with what I know.
Well, there's two sides of the bat, right? Just hit it on the opposite side. You get one swing at it and you go, look at me. I'm just like Trevor Story. And then you put it on the mantle.
Exactly.
I love that. That's a fantastic piece of memorabilia.
Yeah, and so let's see what else. So one thing that's really cool. So my uncle's a diehard Rockies fan. He went to like every game. So other than I have a Larry Walker bobblehead, which is cool. But other than the bat, a lot of my memorabilia is like old school, and he used to give me one or two things for every Christmas. So like this right here, it's a 1995. I believe it's what is it? It's like
a beer bottle, right?
Pennant Fever Brown Ale, and it's full, so I haven't opened it. And it's like, join Coors in cheering the Rockies to victory in the '95 playoffs. Enthusiasm is at a fever pitch as the Rockies roll through the National League on their way to the Fall Classic. And as always, the fans are a big part of this success, with attendance surpassing 3 million mark in each of the first 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And so it's like 6% alcohol by volume. I don't think I'm going to ever drink it, but kind of a cool little piece I got there.
So that's fantastic. If you ever were to break it open, you'd have to break it open with the Trevor Story bat.
Yeah, very nice. Like a saber opening up a bottle of champagne. I'm detecting a theme here. Hey, thank you for this gift. I'm just going to look at it.
Right.
So we're 2 for 2. We're 2 for 2. Let's see if this third one can actually get any action.
Those are the
or
best
mileage.
man.
No, it's the same. It's going to be, so it's a Coors Light from the inaugural season, a 5-pack, if you will. And so it's commemorative cans. This is one of the things he gave me. These are all full still, of course, with some Coors Extra Gold Draft, which I don't drink anyways because I'm a Breck Brew guy. But we got some Coors Light commemorative cans from 1993 and the Denver Post, and that's kind of like all the stuff I got. Like I have this is the first opening day of the inaugural season ticket. I have 2 of these. That's cool. That he gave me. They're in a little plastic, but he went to the game, and the admission back then was $14 to sit in section 108 back in the old Mile High Stadium.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of wild to see stuff like that and be like, wow, now that ticket on opening day goes for $250, $300.
So are we to believe, and are you saying that these are gifts that your uncle gave you wrapped up for the holidays, or was he just cleaning out his garage and was like, I don't want this stuff. My nephew, he's not so bright. I'm just going to give it to him. I'll put a bow on it. He's going to love it. I'll be talking about it for years and years. Option A or B? Which one are we actually looking at? Or is it a blend?
It's probably it's C. It's all of these.
No, respect. I respect that.
So, I've got the same thing. Like, here's a Coors pint from a limited edition Coors pint that's not open, and then a Coca-Cola from the '93 season that's also not open. So
I got that baseball bat bottle. That's back in New Jersey for my relatives in the Springs. I do have that, but I do believe it's opened. Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah, and that's basically it. I also have a signed baseball from the inaugural year, '93. So got a lot of like old school Rocky stuff, which I was born in '93. So Rockies are just as old as I am. So I kind of like keep that going and get as much, like I find stuff at places and I just keep adding to it. So.
Man, that's some cool stuff. So, all right. So what's your uncle's name?
Dennis.
Uncle Dennis. Cheers this Breck Brew. Got the Juice Drop IPA going on now. I'm finally in the Juice Drop family. So like you said, we are Breck Brew people here, and we've got a cheers to Uncle Dennis for those fantastic, and for hardcore Rockies fandom as well. But those are some pretty fantastic Rockies gifts.
Yeah, I love my collection.
Dennis's are great. My father's name is Dennis. Was, still is, and will forever be Dennis. So Uncle Dennis's are fantastic. And so Drew, I imagine when we do this show this time next year and you talk about your all-time favorite gifts that you've received around the holidays in relation to the Rockies or sports or DNVR, you will be talking about this Juice Drop still, because I know you just got a hold of those yesterday and you haven't stopped drinking them, and I don't blame you. It's technically a smoothie if you drink it in the morning. It's technically.
I think that's right. That's right. Oh, and it passed the girlfriend who doesn't love IPA's test of approval.
Whoa.
She ran through. She says, it's going to be too hoppy. I said, let me open one. for science, and I'll start drinking it. And then if you want to, I didn't get any of the rest of it. She enjoyed it. She finished it.
Careful what you wish for, because now you will have less for yourself.
You're right. I didn't think the strategy all the way through. You're
I'm
absolutely
just
right
here to hop in and give a quick review of the juice drop because it's the best juiced IPA I've had in a very long time, and that's my favorite type of beer. So big praise.
And look at the can. Look how sexy that is. I'm not even
artwork. Very, very nice. We had in our Discord room, we put it out there to all of our fans, some of their favorite items, and Mark and Master Tater got back to us. Master Tater even got one of the Walker DNVR shirts too. So that's been something that he liked getting this holiday season. What about you, Drew? I mean, again, growing up in Colorado, you're probably very easy to shop for. And again, that's a good thing, right? Because you have an identity. You're not changing who you are every 5 months. And it's like, no, he's into beard combs and oils this year. No, he's a brony now. He collects the My Little Ponies. And you're like, oh man, it's hard to keep tabs.
Right.
You've been pulling for the Rockies ever since way back when. So what have been some of your favorite, baseball related items you've received during the holidays?
So the funny thing about this is, for the most part, I've never been a big apparel guy, right? So for the most part, when I was a kid, our gifts were to go to the games. It was, we would get tickets, like that was always what, and then we would go to the game and have a big family thing, and that, so there were some things that I got as a kid, but what's funny is now I have all kinds of Rocky stuff just lying around. A lot of it comes just straight from like team giveaways and stuff like that. But people have stopped giving me Rockies things as presents because I've been doing this for like 7 years now, and people are like, well, what am I going to get him that he doesn't? Plus, I can't wear Rocky stuff to the ballpark, like to work or whatever. So there's like a whole half a year where I can't really wear Rocky stuff. I got a bunch of bobbleheads, things like that are really cool. I got some fun gifts from people that have worked for me, including Patrick Lyons and Rich Allen. I've got a New Orleans Baby Cakes baseball that sometimes if you've seen me flipping a baseball around here on the show. I've got a Denver Zephyrs coffee mug that I use all the time that I think was getting a shout out here on the show, stuff like that. There's one thing I wanted to share though, because while this isn't technically straight up Rockies related, I wanted to share this idea, and this is something that I very much treasure. This was something that was made by my brother's wife, and an idea I think that my mother had. And it's a quilt of a bunch of old T-shirts that I had when I was a kid that I didn't want to throw away because they were of sentimental value. And you know how those things just kind of pile up in a garage somewhere? Like everyone has this stuff that like you don't want to throw it away because it means something to you, but you're not going to wear dude, Patrick, check it out. Your big cane shirt. I'm not going to wear that anymore, right? I've got a cheap trick shirt in here, stuff like that. But one of the things that, of course, you have from the time you were a kid that you're sentimental about that you don't want to just totally throw away are your Little League jerseys. Ooh. So I didn't play for the Rockies. I played for the Royals. I was always number 12. There's a Cardinals one on here somewhere. So, yeah, I've got my Royals. Trying to find the Cardinals spot. There's my Cardinals number 12.
That's pretty neat.
I just think that's such a phenomenal gift idea to like make something practical out of this stuff that would otherwise just be hanging out. So it's a very comfortable quilt. So I really enjoy that. I really like that idea and having like a bunch of I think there's a Pirates one in there too. Those are the teams I tended to play for. So never was on the Rockies, but that was that was a really, really cool one to see.
I love that. We're Spence, you might have to send over some of those slacks that you wear while you're golfing over to Drew's sister-in-law. And I'm sure you would love a blanket just with all the plaid and all that craziness you got going on. That would be very comfortable on a couch in your home, I'm thinking.
Absolutely. That's a freaking awesome gift. My aunt used to make me some quilts too. Actually, Dennis's wife at the time, she made me a bunch of quilts, and I still have all of them under my couch, or next to my couch, I should say.
Quilts are awesome.
We need to line up with Uncle Dennis. We need to get Uncle Dennis on the pod. What was your aunt's name?
Barb.
Oof, close. My mom is Carol, so we almost had a perfect Dennis and wife matchup. Just missed with a Barb. looking for Carol as the correct answer. For me, nothing actually stands out. I got a lot of baseball things here and there. I was always baseball cards. And now it's to the point where my dad will always get whatever year tops it is. So he'll get the 2020 top set. And it's like, whoa, again, thanks. And then never open it up and just leave it in there. So everything is nice. Everything's perfectly gem mint. And video games. Always got video games, for the holidays. And invariably there'd be like a baseball game. And over the years, it would just be less and less video games because I would just need the latest baseball game. And I would just play seasons of that nonstop. Probably my favorite baseball game that I got during the holidays for video games was Little League Baseball. It was just called straight up Little League Baseball, and you had teams from different states, and that was one of the most exciting games ever. Nintendo.
So I don't need that Ken Griffey stuff. I don't need any of these. I don't need licensed players. Little League Baseball.
Well, funny story about baseball cards. So I collect them. I have like multiple binders full of baseball cards, and baseball cards actually ruined Santa for me because my mom left a sticker on some baseball cards that she left under the tree from Santa. And I was like, why did Santa pay $7.99 for this set of tops?
Oh, that's great.
Basically ruined Santa.
Oh my God. Wow. Did Santa pay for this card to get graded? It's a 9.5. Like, elves they're PSA certified? Like, how did...
Right.
Huh?
We're going to have you come back. We'll have to get Liam on the show, too. Says he's got about 10,000 baseball cards organized. Patrick, I know you got a lot. I was never a big baseball card guy, but my dad was a big baseball card guy. That was another actually great, again, just baseball-related gift, something that my mom did. And this is a great thing, again, for if you happen to be going through a time where you don't have a whole lot of extra money lying around for the holidays, you're trying to think, what can I do? She actually found all of our old baseball cards and gifted them back to us and organized them for us. And I'm looking through it, and I found Mark Knudson's card. I was like, I had Mark Knudson's baseball card when I was a kid. Didn't know who that was. Didn't know one day I was going to meet that guy and have him on the podcast a bunch of times. But, it's like, hey, there's his baseball card. But Dad had some great, old ones. So that's another show we can do sometime. We can all come back and show off our coolest baseball cards.
Yeah, over the summer, my dad and I were opening up a box of cards here, Topps Heritage from 2020, and I saved a couple packs to open up on the show. So when we get around to that, we'll have to do that. I was going back looking to see if the Rockies had ever, made a big signing on Christmas Day or made any transactions, and I wasn't able to find that, which is fine. Hey, again, we talk about what the Rockies have done with their employees and how they take care of their people, and they are like a true family. So they're not going to make anybody have to, put out a press release and do all kinds of work on Christmas Day or Eve or the day after. So I definitely respect that, and that's probably the case with a lot of teams. So the most recent, ones closest to Christmas that I could find is, hey, happy 1-year anniversary of the signing of Chris Owings, which worked out okay until he got banged up. So that is 1 year today. 2018, it was, I think, on the 20th of December. So it was an early Christmas gift for some out there. Was Daniel Murphy. And then, you open the box and you go, what is it? It's a second baseman.
That's like when your grandparents go video game shopping for you and they don't know, and they're asking the poor kid at Best Buy. I was in a Best Buy recently. We upgraded the TV situation, and I just heard an elderly couple asking, so what of the sports games do you think would be good for a 14-year-old? And I was just like, God bless you, buddy. That 19-year-old kid working at that Best Buy was like, you are earning your every cent of your pay, young man. Good luck to you, because you are now Christmas shopping for this family.
Yeah, Rockies on the 29th of 2017, they signed Wade Davis. That worked out incredibly well for the next season. It did.
I'm going to say.
Again, some of we know everyone has gotten those gifts where you love it. You wear it out. Maybe you play with it for an hour, and then you never play with it ever again.
Totally.
That's Wade Davis, I think, in a way. So I think it's very fitting that we do that. And so Spencer, since you are, a big.
That's right. Wildly innocent. Daniel Murphy is like getting a game for the wrong platform, and Wade Davis is like getting a game where 6 months later, all the new games that are in that genre are way better, and it's completely obsolete now.
Yeah, just missed the mark. That wasn't the one I wanted. No, but it's like the one. No, but it's close. But I just wanted the one I wanted. So Spence, what do you think the Rockies should have on their wish list, or what do you want for them? If you were getting them a gift, what would be something big you would like to see in 2021? Either player acquisition, just something fun, just some kind of hope, dream. What's at the top of that list?
At the top of my list, is I just want the Rockies were so much fun when they made the playoffs 2 years in a row. And I feel like pretty much all of our Denver teams, at least other than the Broncos, but football's not really like that. The teams are like close families. Nuggets, we know, are like that. Avs are kind of like that. And the Rockies were like that. You got young Nolan-ish back a couple of years ago. You got young Trevor Story. Back in the 2007, you had the young Troy Tulowitzki. You had guys like Kaz Matsui that fit in perfect, that they just were a family, and they were so fun to watch. And I feel like, whether that means dealing Nolan or keeping Nolan, it made me sick to deal him, but I understand you have to do certain things for a franchise to move on. I just wish they would all have fun playing baseball again and look like that team that I thought was going to be in the playoffs for the next 5 to 6 to 7 years, and then everything kind of fell off. But I just want to see them having fun playing baseball again. And whether, like I said, whether that means Nolan leaving and somebody else coming up and getting a chance from another team, and showing, I just want people to want to play for the Rockies. That's what I want. I want people to want to be here and want to be part of this team, as hard as it may be right now.
That's a really good answer, man. That was a really good answer. I like that because, it's one of the reasons why it's so great to have you on. I think sometimes we get so caught up in all the numbers and even some of the big picture stuff and where the team's at and how competitive can they be and whose contract is what and who do they got to move and who do they got to bring in and what's the state of the rotation of the bullpen. And like, that's such a basic thing, but you're right. Like, it would be really nice if they were just fun to watch and if they felt like they were having fun playing and it's a little bit on Nolan, I'll say, but it's also just been the lack of winning, and a lot of it is on the GM and his attitude and all of that too. Doesn't help for anybody, but it's like, it would be nice if it just felt like people were showing up to the ballpark with a positive attitude every day, and it hasn't felt like that for a while. Maybe at times in 2019, but Patrick, I don't know. Didn't you feel like the times that we would go in and like talk to like Ian Desmond and Ryan McMahon when they were like doing the trust falls and Los Cucarachas was going on, didn't even feel kind of forced, or like there were some guys who were doing it because they were going to do it and other guys were just pissed that they suck?
Yeah, there was, it was still the same core of guys from the 17-18 run, and it wasn't the run was over. It was just, oh wow, okay, we hit a speed bump, which happens for a lot of teams where they'll get in the playoffs maybe a little bit earlier than expected. Then the next season they'll take a step back and then they go forward. So I think they were very much of that mindset of like, all right, hey, we definitely took a big step backwards. There's some things to worry about. But look, it's the same group of guys that went, to the playoffs in consecutive postseasons for the first time in franchise history. We're coming back in 2020 stronger, better than ever. And
then they started out great, and it was maybe a little bit of good feelings there, and then it so completely fell apart. So
your answer was too good, Spencer. I sort of feel like that is the baseball equivalent of saying, you know what I really want for the holidays? World peace.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a concept.
Just for everyone in the family to be happy and fulfilled. It's like, you son
in
of
a weird way, Trevor Bauer would have been a better answer. I'd been like, oh, it'd be more feasible. It might be more feasible. You go, Trevor Bauer. You're like, if we all chip in as fans, $175 million and say, Dick, hey, we got this one. This one's on us. Thank you for keeping the Rockies in Lodo at Coors Field, our treat. But no, you go, how about even beyond that? They just have fun. I love it. That's a very good wish. That is a very
Liam went that direction. Liam wants Alex Colome. Just come on, just bring a closer in here, would you?
What about you, Drew? Do you have something, maybe not from the fan side, but from the media side, that stands out that you would like either for yourself or for us at DNVR?
Since you framed it that way, actually that's perfect. That gives me an opportunity to talk something we haven't done a lot of conversation about, and that is whether we're allowed back in the clubhouse or not, because that's a health issue that is in the hands of people who are much smarter than me, and I'm going to listen to those people and do what they tell me to. But we need to have one-on-one individual access to players. And, you know, this thing last year where, like, we couldn't get these private Zooms, we need that.
Frustrating.
It's very frustrating. And there have been wishy-washy answers on whether or not we're going to be back in the clubhouse or what kind of access we're going to have. So one, I'd like an answer to that question. And two, I would like some recognition that even if it has to change, that, and now I got to sound like this guy. It's like, and so often I get dinged on the other side of it for being, you know, Homer man, but I am also journalism man. I walk that line, deal with it. And so the other part of it is it's important for journalists to have access, to be there for some of the silly things that we do, but some of the important things, like, is this team cheating and stealing signs? Are they treating their female and minority employees with respect and dignity in the clubhouse? That was something the Astros got in trouble for a couple of years ago. An assistant GM had to get fired only because other media there were to report on stuff that happened. So, you know, players who were getting away with bad stuff. And then just the other fun things, too. Don't you want to know about, you know, who Trevor Story's got in college football this weekend? Don't you want to know these things? And it's become much more difficult for us to have these kinds of conversations. And that needs to be worked out, because ultimately, like in any industry, the media's access to players and the team and the GMs and the owners is the fans' access to those things. And you guys need that stuff. And so therefore, so do we. So, yeah, it's... They gotta get us a little more clarity on the access.
If that's not number one on my list,
yeah.
The only thing that comes close would be a Trevor Story extension. That's what I would like to see for the Rockies this upcoming season. So we get even more of that kid's just great athleticism, because he's
good.
He's more athletic than Nolan Arenado, and it's been discussed before. It's crazy to think Nolan just has baseball and competitive skills, like it's in his DNA, whereas Trevor Story, you go, he'd probably be pretty good at soccer. You know, he'd be good at everything. And before we get off this topic, I do want to get at Kale Sorbo's take on what he would like to see
producer
for the Rockies. I know he's a little hesitant.
I just told you guys, I'm not here for the content. I'm not here.
That's okay, because I want to give you the full introduction, and not really to build it up too much, but you are super producer Kale, as everyone knows. He's also known as Tech Boy. Kale.
That's right. You got a Tech Boy shout out the other day you weren't here for. With
the newly shaved head and the beard going, looking like sexy Saint Nick, the young Santa. Go ahead, Kale. Please, what's just one thing you would like in the baseball world, or for the Rockies specific? What do you want to see?
I would like a universal designated hitter for Christmas.
I love that.
Not so much to ask for.
Here's the thing, though, Kale.
Santa is your rapper name.
Here's the thing. They might be sold out, but you know what? We'll definitely make sure we can get that for you next Christmas. Yeah. I definitely think we can get that for you next Christmas when the CBA closes. So we'll. I don't know if I can make that happen this year, brutal. But if you're a good boy in 2021, we will grant you that wish.
It was just last season was just a little tease in the fact that we're going back to watching pitchers try and hit baseballs. It's just unfortunate.
Yeah, it was essentially like what you did. Like you went to a friend's house and you got to play PS5 and you're like, oh my God, that was so sweet. I want it again, but it's sold out. And you're like, come on, you're going to get it in time for the 2021 holiday season. But will you get it this year? I don't know how good of a boy you've been.
Brutal.
I don't know. We'll see.
Brutal. All right. Well, we got to get into some really fun stuff. But before we do that, you get to get into some really fun stuff by downloading the DraftKings Sportsbook app, making a little bit of money, making a little bit of extra fun for your sports watching experience. And right now, they are hooking you up with a promo code. Well, we're hooking you up. They and we, I guess, hook you up with the promo code DNVR when you sign up to get 100-1 odds on any featured matchup this week. I assume that's there in the NBA as it is opening week of the 2021 basketball season. I'm all jazzed. Well, no, I'm not jazzed. Those are the bad guys. I'm all Nuggets. It doesn't work that way. Very excited for the Nuggets to resume playing basketball with some championship aspirations for one of only a handful of times in their existence. If you want to hop on the bandwagon, now is the time to do it. And if you want to make a little bit of money off of your home team, Rockies weren't necessarily helping you out with a whole bunch of wins this last year. So if you like doing not the emotional hedge, but the going all in where you're just betting on your own team, probably the Nuggets, though you're not going to get great odds because they're going to be favored a lot. Still, you can win some money. So use that promo code DNVR when you sign up to get 100-to-1 odds on any featured matchup this week. That's code DNVR for new players to get a shot at $100 on any featured matchup this week for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, Colorado only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. And also, yeah, if you just listen to Patrick, as Liam says in the comments, when he gives that pick of the week, listen to it. You'll make money. That's how it works.
Well, you're putting me on the spot here, but I'm going to go ahead and just straight up say DraftKings Sportsbook pick of the week is the Nuggets tonight. It's a no-doubter. They're going to cover the spread, which is the biggest piece. They're given 7.5. You're not going to make much money on it. I like giving you slightly longer odds, but go ahead and give those 7.5 points minus 110. Lock that in against the Sacramento Kings.
You can, if you're feeling really good about it, you can buy up to like 10.5 points and get your odds up to like plus 200 if you really feel in yourself.
Ooh, yes. I would do that. I would bump it up as high as maybe 9.5, as I'm pretty sure Chris Webber is inactive for this game for the Kings.
So passer.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And Vlade Divac also kind of at the tail end of his career. So those Kings guys, not so hot. Not so hot.
No, indeed. All right. Well, now it's time we get to look at some other cool, weird, fun. Well, we'll see how weird. Well, some of it's going to be a little weird and fun. So, Patrick, throw a few other things at us that we can just react to live here.
All right. Well, our buddy SPK has got it all lined up real nicely. These are just some random items I was able to find online that you could get right now for sale. A lot of them on eBay. I'll point out, different websites that they're on. But we got a couple sweet-looking satin jackets, some old school gimmicks here.
Okay, Spence could pull that off, but not me. This is a Spence can wear it, but I can't wear it. That's our first spot on the rubric, right? You'd look phenomenal in that.
The mullet coming out of the top of it. Oh yeah, my mullet matches the little gold trim on that CR. Yeah, that's perfect.
Right?
It's a crest. It's literally like you are the king or something of the Colorado Rocky land. Love that. That's $135 right now on eBay. You can't beat that. Now, if the purple is too much, I've got something like what's more than purple? How about all white?
Ooh,
the white satin. Now, this bad boy is gonna set you back $299 for an extra large. I found a large one for $175 right now on eBay, but the white satin early 90s Rockies bomber jacket. Oh my gosh, this thing is amazing.
I think just about anybody would look good in that. I think even I would look okay in that. I think I'd look okay in that one.
Yeah, that white one is stupendous. And the third jacket, because if you like some more colors,
had a coat of arms either. Wildly innocent. I was like,
if you want to look at that coat of arms, that's great. If you want a little bit of everything color wise, and you're a big fan of Seinfeld, and you enjoy his leather 8-ball jacket, well then I've got this great jacket from the '98 All-Star Game. It's tying in all kinds of colors.
This is the single ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life.
What? You hush your mouth. This is a jacket by Jeff Hamilton. Now, if you want to own something in the Jeff Hamilton line of ugly jackets, this would be the one you would want to get. It's got a little baby blue in it. The green. Now, I don't like this color green.
Dude, the green is bad. It's
this green doesn't play well with the purple, but there are a lot of shades of greens that do. That one's okay, It's not. I don't know, Spencer. What do you think? Do you like the green and the purple, like how they play with each other? Look, maybe not on this, but in general, do you think those two colors play well?
It's given me some Diamondbacks vibes, like that old purple with the green. Like, so I'm not a big fan of that vibe. I like that the Rockies are purple because it's so unique to a lot of other sports and just colors in general. So keep the green out of there, keep the blue out of there, but that jacket and just purple and black and white would be pretty clean.
All right. Well, I got a couple more items here, the All-Star theme from '98, including one that my favorite fan will have purchased for me. Hint, hint, wink, wink. This is something I need to have. But first, here's if you were a hot dog vendor at the '98 All-Star game, and you go, you know what? I'm gonna stash this away in my garage. Maybe I'll give it to my nephew Spence. Maybe I'll put it on eBay. And you know what? This guy, he decided not to give it to his nephew, who may or may not be named Spence, but decided to put this bad boy up on eBay. And it's purple with some pinstripes. Now, this actually has more of a Diamondbacks vibe to me than anything else.
Yeah, that's it's close. I feel like that's actually close to being really good, but like you said, it's a little too hot dog vendery. Not that there's anything wrong.
Over under $100 on this item here that is now close to 25 years old. What do you think?
I'm gonna have to go over just because.
Over 125, okay. Spence?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. It's $100.
Okay, right now you could get it. I think maybe it's even a buy it now. $169.99.
Wow.
Oof.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a bit much. Slightly more reasonably priced is this next item. That is the number one item I want. I want it even more than the Larry Walker turn ahead the clock. You know, that weird one that zooms in. I want this even more. This is a jersey from the Home Run Derby, which again, the darker green really pops. The A in the last A in National is, Purple Mountains. This thing is just so beauty. It's my number one thing on my wish list that I need to have in a size large. I'd take a medium. I'd also take a medium.
And,
Putting that out there. That's slightly more reasonably priced. All right. Sticking with the All-Star Game themed, here's a random bobblehead from 2003. This company put out.
Whoa.
I forget what they were called, but yeah, they did it for all the teams. They look really nice. The Rockies one, I think, turned out the best. It's a bobblehead standing atop. It says Coors Field down there at the bottom. You can see some of Coors Field in the picture. The head of the bobblehead is of the blue sky, so it gives you the whole view. It is not cheap right now on eBay. It's at $260.
Oh boy!
Yes,
you probably cool though.
That's
free. I've never seen anything like that.
I can brag piece of merch type thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. This gives me the idea of those things where it's what do they call it? Wine and paint or whatever they call those, those places where you go.
Painting, yeah.
Yeah, it gives you that vibe like, hey, we're going to give you a bobblehead, do whatever you want with it, paint it up really nice, and you're one friend, of course. And you're like, oh yeah, hey, you went to community college for a year to be an artist. This is what they come up with, and you're like, oh my God, that's amazing. So if you have a friend, that's probably a much cheaper route than bidding on this item that is over $200. All right. Talking about big games that have taken place at Coors Field, the All-Star Game in '98 is up there. Well, the 2007 World Series is also up there, if not number one. So this is second base from the 2008 World Series. 2007 World Series, Rockies, Red Sox. It's $800, $40 for shipping. Okay.
Worth it.
Now the listing says 2007 World Series, Game 5, second base. It's listed for $800. Can anybody tell me what's the problem with that listing detail?
That there was never a Game 5.
There was never a Game 5, so
I had tickets to that damn game.
Oh, brutal.
So somebody's lying here.
Who was taking you to the game? Was it Uncle D?
No, it wasn't. I was actually gonna go with my mom and brother. We went to the play-in game against San Diego, and then we were gonna go back for the World Series and never got to.
Yeah. So this is strange. It is a little bit nicked up too. It looks like it might have been used, but no, it was for a game that was never played. So you can't dream on that holiday standing.
That should really drive up the price if you think about it. This was a game that was played in an alternate dimension where the Rockies have won a World Series game. That's amazing. Now you think about it, only $800 to get a second base from an alternate dimension is pretty fantastic.
That is the Rockies' luck. That the first alternate dimension, they don't win it; they just win a game.
They just go to Game 5.
Yeah, you're like, how many different dimensions do we need to go to till we get to one where the Rockies have actually won a World Series? Yeah. That I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, another Coors Field. Great artists, sprestondesigns.com. This is something that's been around for.
Oh, I love S. Preston's.
A couple. He has a couple new ones, but it's real. It's minimalistic.
Oh,
like
that's cool.
Minimalistic art of all 30 ballparks, and this one is just so iconic, much like the row itself. It's the purple row. It's just a sea of green seats that you have in the upper deck with one row of purple at the top, and it's so simple, so beautiful. You can get a small print for as cheap as I think $70.
That's amazing.
That is beautiful, right?
Yeah. That's definitely something to consider hanging in the new house that I'm eventually moving into.
All right, Coors Field, great place to be. When people are thinking about the Rockies now, they're not just thinking about Coors Field. They're thinking about Hall of Famer Larry Walker. So we'll start with the most affordable item, Larry Walker socks.
Look at those.
Which, notice the right sock. It's got a little signature on it. No, it's not real. But it's got a signature on it and the Baseball Hall of Fame logo. Look at that. For the first time, there are purple socks with the Baseball Hall of Fame insignia on it. I love that.
I need those.
$15.99. Very comfortable. All right, next up on that list. Drew, I know you're going to like this, Spence. You could probably take this out on the course. You're going to dig this. The Larry Walker Hall of Fame dugout mug, bat mug. So it looks, they basically take a bat, they chop it off about halfway, they core out the middle, and it's just a mug. That's it. It looks like a baseball bat. Yes. And again, you got the Hall of Fame insignia with the fire branded insignia.
Quite a bit of juice drop in there.
Oh, yeah. That's styling. If you're walking around at a party with that, $51.99, steep, but on sale at baseballhall.org. If you're really into your alcohol, you got a decanter in the shape of a baseball, the Larry Walker decanter by Cooperstown Distillery. They've got some breweries up in that area as well. That's really neat. Again, you got the Larry Walker signature on it. Looks like a baseball. The little cork on top. So if you enjoy some whiskey
it's
or
a corked
bourbon,
baseball.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a bad joke, and I apologize.
And finally, and again, this might be the least exciting item to a degree. You have a Larry Walker jersey from the Baseball Hall of Fame, except this bad boy on the right sleeve is the Baseball Hall of Fame insignia. It says Class of 2020. You'd be the first kid on your block with a Hall of Fame Rockies jersey. And for that reason, it had to go on this Rockies fans wish list for 2020.
Had to be. Look at that thing.
Spence, any of those jump out? Are you going to baseballhall.org to buy any of these items, you think?
I do need something to pair with my Larry Walker bobblehead. So, I may be headed over that way. That was probably the best thing to happen to the Rockies in 2020 by far.
Yeah.
well deserved. And hopefully there's another player on the roster now that's going to go down in that same Hall of Fame. And hopefully more to come.
So Kevin Pillar, he's actually a free agent. I don't know if you knew that, Spence. Oh, I'm sorry. Wires got crossed. No,
I was talking about Carlos Estevez, actually.
Oh, yes. Hey, you never know.
Yeah, never.
The verdict's still out.
I love that.
I know, right? Everybody is.
All right. Well,
but actually,
go ahead.
I want to ask Spence about that just because we've got you, and I was very curious. We've been talking all about the Larry Walker stuff, but what is your relationship to that? Just because you'd mentioned earlier, born a little later than me, no, a little bit, but just do you have a lot of memories of him, or is it more like in theory and going back and studying it and being like, that is kind of before my time, but you've grown to appreciate it? What is your how did you come to know Larry Walker?
Yeah, so that's more of a research and like finding out on my own kind of Larry Walker. I really got into the Rockies, I want to say, when I don't have a lot of memories from when I was a kid. I don't know what the issue is. I don't have a lot of memories before I was like 13, 14. So right around the time, like Troy Tulowitzki was my first that was my guy.
Crush. Your first crush.
Yeah, exactly. He's absolutely my first crush. And then, but just looking at, MLB Twitter is wild and like talking about the whole, should Larry be in, should he not? And going back and watching him and just watching how much of a 5-tool player he was, and just doesn't matter where he played. Like, I hate, there's the whole Coors argument, whatever. That's a full nonsense podcast in itself, but a good baseball player is a good baseball player. And so watching highlights of Larry Walker, having my mom, she's diehard sports fan, got me and Mitchell into it. She when there's a Rockies game, she'll still do the Larry Walker, like still obsessed with that. So, it's just cool that even though the Rockies didn't have as much success, starting out as like a team like the Diamondbacks or whatever, winning World Series, there was so much talent on a lot of those teams and so many good players to come from it. So Larry Walker highlights are one of my faves.
Same. That's it's cool to see the Rockies growing in tradition and history, because there isn't much there, but it's being built now. Like you said, there's just as much of it that's being built right now. So some of these, apparently Wild the Innocent has the Canadian flag that was flown over Coors Field. I'm sure there's a story there. I'm not quite sure you come away with that, but that sounds pretty cool. Also said he'd like to see Todd Helton come back to the Rockies in some capacity for the Rockies gift. Or was that somebody else that said that? I saw it up here earlier, and now I can't find the comment.
He probably hasn't been back since they retired his number, most likely, right?
Yeah. So it'd be nice to see him out here in some capacity. I also did see a question earlier about whether or not we were airing grievances today. I've seen a lot of people celebrating Festivus, and no, for two reasons. One, I'm the guy who thinks Seinfeld is overrated and catches all the shit for that. So sorry, folks. I watched a lot of it. Not my thing. But two, Rockies fans don't need a special day to air their grievances. Just follow my mentions on Twitter. So,
every day's Festivus for Rockies fans.
Every single day can be Festivus for Rockies fans.
Oh, I love that. Well, we got a couple more items before we wrap up that I think should go on Rockies fans' list, and I don't think they're going to have any grievances for this. All right, so this item I'm going to pull up, or super producer Kale is going to do it. It's next on our list. What's your take? Drew, Spence, what is this item?
Is that a bowling ball?
That was going to be my guess as well.
That is a bowling ball. It's a Colorado Rockies bowling ball.
I could get very into that.
Yes, $70, somewhat rare. Bowling's not quite as popular as it once was. It's for kids, though. It's only an 8-pound ball. Fun fact, 16 is the heaviest a bowling ball can be for it to be lane safe. I don't even think you could get anything bigger than 16 pounds. So 8 pounds is really like the starting weight of a bowling ball. Me and Mookie Betts, we're the two-star athletes where we could both bowl and play baseball. Rare breed there. So if you want to get your kid into bowling,
I actually hurt myself bowling one time. I hurt myself playing video games the other day too.
Wrist. You can definitely screw your wrist up.
Yeah. What's the weirdest injury you ever got, Spence?
The weirdest injury I ever got. Oh, that's it's not necessarily weird, but I roll my ankle basically every time I play basketball, and it puts me out for like 2 to 3 weeks, and then I get back and then I roll it again. It's like a just step wrong every single time, and it's just a constant my right ankle's like permanently swollen.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Well, actually, I do have a kind of weird. So this wasn't me. This is Mitchell, Big Drive Mitch. One of the funniest injuries I've ever seen in my life. So we're in the front yard and we're messing around. He's got a baseball bat, and I'm tossing him a basketball, and he goes to hit the basketball with the baseball bat. The bat bounces off the basketball, hits him in the face. The bat hits him in the face. His eye was split, like his eyelid was hanging down, and you could see his skull. So he had to go to the emergency room.
Oh.
Yeah, I was freaking out. My mom's like, "What did you do?" And I was like, "Oh no."
That's why I don't think kids should be allowed to watch Dude Perfect. And frankly, I don't allow that in my house for those reasons. Those guys are dangerous. They're reckless. And I don't care for them very much. But I do care for this next item.
This is the topic for next week's DFA show, by the way. Not to give it away too early, but Wild the Innocent saying he wants a whole show on this topic. You had actually suggested that on Twitter, and we're going to do that next week, the weirdest injuries in baseball history. So that's why I wanted to get Spence's on that now.
All right. Well, I don't want to add insult to injury on this next item. This is an ugly sweater, which I found online, but not in a store. I just found a picture of it. And it's it's kind of sleeveless style. I mean, the sleeves are white, so it kind of gives you that idea that it is a vest. Not sure why the dinosaur isn't a Triceratops. It's a Brachiosaurus, not to be confused with a Brontosaurus, which is not actually a real dinosaur.
They put the wrong dinosaur.
Yeah,
it's not even a real dinosaur. Still, I'd wear it. But you're right. How did they not get the Triceratops?
It was made by Fanatics. And I think they've gone a little bit further. And there's like little flowers on there. I guess maybe it's like a poinsettia. I'm not sure. But it would have been great if they were columbines, which again, you can see it's our state flower.
Is it the logo for that gas company?
Could be, yeah.
I'm not going to say their name.
All right, final item. And again, this is kind of rare. So if you can get your hands on this, this is a real hardcore thing. I don't think I've ever seen this in person. Spence, do you know what this is? Do you know what kind of baseball cap that is?
I am sad to say I do not know.
Ooh, okay. So this is a Casper Ghosts baseball cap from Casper, Wyoming.
I should have known.
It's been a while since you've seen one, right, Drew? Now, do you know what makes this hat so unique? Besides just how it looks like right now, there's one other cool detail about it that I don't know if it's true of all of the Casper Ghost hats, but a lot of the fitted ones, this one conveniently is 7 3/8, so that is my size. You can buy it on eBay. It is $90, so I don't expect the fans to get it, but if they do chip in, it will make it more cost effective. However, the point being, the thing that makes this so unique is it's glow in the dark. Now, this has zero ramifications on the field. The players don't need that at all. We hope not. But
I do.
That's friggin' dope that the Casper Ghost hat, if you shut the lights off, it should be able to glow in the dark. I don't know if it's got the glow in the dark juices still in it. It's been close to a decade now since they've been out of Casper, but this is a rare item. And again, never seen it in person. Except, probably 10, 15 years ago when they were in operation. But Casper Ghost baseball cap.
That's
cool.
Yeah, that's a Rockies hype beast item that I think we're going to start seeing more of those when people realize, oh, wait, all right, that's how I've got some swag or got some swagger to my wardrobe.
You walk up to Trevor's Story wearing that hat and say, I got a Casper Ghost hat. Immediate in. He's like the last guy. The last guy you can kind of get away with that.
Even Arenado was a Casper Ghost.
That's right. For just that, I totally forgot he was. You're right. Story was one of the last ones, but Arenado was before that. Older guys. Yeah. The hat's a big hit. These guys want to go out and get it. Well, you want to drop $90 for it.
I am 7 3/8, so I mean that works. That's fine.
I'm not sure Wild the Innocent or Liam are buying the hat for you, but we'll find out. Stay tuned.
I'm shameless. I'm going to be a little shameless once in a while. Usually I try to be nice, but yeah, these are some cool things. Again, you're not going to get it in time for the holidays, but it's one of those things to keep an eye out for. And if you're a nice, frugal shopper, I can be like that. I love going to thrift shops. I obviously haven't been able to do that quite recently, but pace yourself throughout the year. February, March, April, these things, go up for sale, and you can get yourself a nice deal. So, hang around, and maybe the price on that bowling ball is going to come down for you.
I got to get that bowling ball. I don't even go bowling. I'm just going to set it behind me here on a shelf while we do the show. A few of those other things too. Well, Spence, we really appreciate you swinging by, man, sharing some of your stuff with us. That was super cool, sharing your stories. We'll have to get you back on. Maybe we'll have you back on for the injury show just for fun.
Yeah, anytime, man. Anytime. I'm always stoked to be on with you guys. You guys do an incredible job, and I just hope the Rockies are fun.
That was so the best. That is the takeaway.
Sounds simple.
That's the takeaway from this podcast. Just let
simple.
the Rockies be fun. That's right.
Well, we may have to do a broadcast live from the range, and we'll see how far you can drive a baseball.
I like that.
Right? There you go. We'll do a little crossover content. Before that, though, you got to get the golf content on your own. You got to go over there and get all of the golf stuff from the Big Drive Energy show on the DNVR network, doing some golf breakdowns for you there, and really just having fun. Like, that's also a thing. Like, even if you're not the biggest golf person, like if you just like having fun and you're semi-interested, or maybe there's someone in your life who really loves golf and you're like, I don't get why this person that I love is really into golf. Well, go hang out with Spence and Mitch and you'll understand why people can have fun watching golf, right? Give us a little plug. We got a little bit of time right before we sign off. You guys are having so much fun over there, man.
Yeah, well, I think that's kind of the main key is, like everybody in DNVR, you guys cover the Rockies, right? So you guys are journalists. You're good at what you do, but we kind of just fly off the rails and get to kind of say whatever we want and do whatever we want. And, in relation to golf, but there's a lot of things. We make some TikToks, we do live videos, this part of the year is as it is for you guys, you got to think of things to talk about when the off season's happening and there's no signings or anything like that. So we're kind of in that off season too. But yesterday I made my own snowman on the putting green, took some pictures of it, did a little TikTok video with it. So we have a blast, and it's, golf is what we do. But it's also, with COVID, it basically took off in terms of the rounds played all around America. So a lot of people are getting into golf that hadn't before. And so I think there's a real opportunity there. Having the Masters in November was awesome. A lot of people tuned in for our post game lives of that, or post rounds. We're going to do a ton of that next year. The podcast every week. We did a podcast kind of like you guys. We didn't do it live, but gave some people some ideas for golfers for Christmas or cool gifts they could buy. And yeah, we're just kind of in our own little world within DNVR where we don't have to objectively, without being, because we're both diehard fans of the Rockies, and we talk to you guys, and you guys have to be, objective and have to take a little bias out of that, and we don't. So it's kind of that fun
right.
that we can live in where, instead of going to Twitter and voicing my sometimes uninformed, drunk, angry opinions, I go to Drew and Patrick and get some opinions from them in our Slack, where I can kind of let off some steam, but also be told, this is how it's going. So I've enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's fun having all that energy around. I think that's what makes the whole thing go. And Wildly Innocent, this is just going to start a fight. This is a topic for a whole other time. The best golfer in Rockies history. If you walked into the clubhouse and just said that, a fight might actually break out. So we're gonna have to get into all that some other time. We'll have to have some guys on, and even hopefully in the new world that is hopefully on the horizon, get out there on the course with some of these Rockies and with Spence and with Michaela and shoot some stuff.
Yeah,
and,
Kyle Freeland's my fish. That's the fish I want. That's the whale that I want.
I promise you, he's down.
Yeah,
I know he's down.
That's one that'll be great. We'll do a little crossover. We'll get him out on the golf course. That'd be awesome.
So to make sure you don't miss out on any of that, you got to be following us at Drew Kreisman, at Patrick D. Lyons, at Big Drive Spence, is it just at Big Drive Mitch, I assume, as well?
Yeah. Yeah.
At Big Drive, and we've got it's at DNVR_golf.
Yes.
To follow all that stuff. You got to follow at Kale Sorbo and at DNVR_Rockies. All the stuff. The ats. You subscribe to the DNVR.com. That's the easiest way to make sure you're not missing out on any of it. Because not only do you get access to all that written content, And you get the discounts on like shirts and masks and bigger beer when you come down to the bar when it reopens. But you also get to come hang out with us in the Discord. So if you like Rockies baseball and you like to golf a lot, well, you can start chatting with Spence about Rockies baseball and golf. Or if you like Rockies baseball and pro wrestling, you know where to find me and Patrick. So come hang out with us, subscribe, do all of that stuff. Keep being a part of this awesome family. We absolutely love you. We promise we'll continue to absolutely be Drew Kreisman, Patrick Lyons, and Big Drive Spence Smith, and super producer Kale Sorrell. Not leaving you out. Thank you so much for all the hard work you do. Thank you so much for all of the question asking and hanging out and being awesome Rockies fans that you do out there. We love you. And until next time, we will see you at the ballpark.